Hello everybody, how's it going? In this video we'll be creating a new feature. We'll be adding a delete button here which will eventually fire a soft delete method on this project controller, which will eventually set deleted at database column value to current date timestamp. At the moment it's null. I can show you. So for example, if we go to our database and let's go to the app database, so we have two items, swimming lessons and then some gibberish. And if we go and have a look at browser, we have swimming lessons and gibberish, and the details are, so currently they have a deleted at column which is set to null. That's by default because we haven't created the feature yet. We haven't fired that controller method, so the value is just null. Okay, so in this video we'll be creating a delete button, or sort of a hide button, which will hide this project from this screen. Now what essentially it does, it's going to fire the method soft delete method on the controller and set this timestamp, which will exclude these models which have a timestamp set in this column. They will exclude these models from the database query. So you can, when you say give me all the projects, what you're really saying is give me all the projects where the deleted at stamp is set to null, and of course whatever your further query criteria is. So if your criteria is find this model by this name, the first criteria, which is obvious, Laravel is going to exclude all the deleted records. It's going to give you only the records that are not deleted at, but that's okay. Let's open up the editor, and the very first thing we're going to do is add the button. So we go out to resources, views and pages, and then projects. In our home page right here we'll be creating a button, and that button will encompass inside a form which will have a method of delete. So I've just run here PHP artisan route list, and when you open up this list you'll see that there's a method called delete, and that delete method is here, and it fires a destroy method on the controller. This is the route, sorry, and the type of method we're sending from the type of request is going to be delete request. Now in our case we will be creating a separate method. We are just creating a hide method that's going to hide, and then we will be creating another method called restore, which will restore it. We want to give the user an opportunity to restore any project which he thought he just wants to get rid of, but he can restore it back. And then also we'll create a button which will delete it forever. So let's go ahead and expand this unordered list, and I'm going to add another button here. Before that, this is going to have form open, and we don't need this form model binding. All we need is method that is going to be delete, and it's going to fire a method on the controller called hide, and we'll be passing in the project class. So button type, this is the button which we are going to change here. Let's just remove that. And in our partials, in our forms, we have this partial view called delete, and all it does is essentially gives us a button with a variable called submit task button. So we'll be making use of this button here. So let's just say include, and we'll say partials dot forms and delete. And here you can pass in that variable that is equal to, let's say, hide. and yeah, include this one in the code as well. So that's it, and that gives us the button. So if you go ahead and open up, refresh your browser, you'll see a button here, and I can log in back again. My computer has been sitting idle for a long time. It has kicked me out unexpected in 59. So unexpected in 59. So what happened was I added this $sign here. Don't do that. And then here, make sure it's an array, and that should make it happy. And it does make it happy. No. So it says everything is good. It's complaining about this method, that the method doesn't exist in the routes, so it cannot generate a URL. So let's go back to our routes file and add that method. In our routes.php, we'll be creating a method here just before the resourceful routes. Make sure it's always before the additional methods, and we'll call it delete. And here are going to be projects, and the key, we're going to have to bind the key here. We're talking about a specific project, and we can say it hide. That's going to be the route, and the method hide. And then when we refresh, it shows us this button. That button at the moment is going to fire that method which doesn't exist, but otherwise we have this button now. And the next obvious step is to create that method in the controller. So let's open up project controller and create a new method. So we will be just copy, come here, paste. That's going to be our new method called hide, and pass in the project instance. And all we want to do is make sure that it's hidden. So all we want to do is set the timestamp to set the deleted that column to the current timestamp. So it's very easy. All you have to do is just run the delete method, because it's a delete request. It's a delete request from the form. Just run delete method, and it'll set the default value of null to the current date timestamp. And how it works, I think I essentially showed you in the previous videos, but I can go over that one more time. In your models, which is project model, we declared use softdelete. I think it's a trait. It's a trait. We pulled in this trait. So we are using a softdelete trait, and it requires a dates variable which is deleted at timestamp in the database column to be set. And what we had to do was we created a migration here. In the migration, we added a softdeletes column, which essentially creates deleted at timestamp with a value of null, and we are toggling that value. So once we run this method, it knows you're using a trait, this trait, and it knows what to do with these dates, and that's it. It will set it up for you and return and redirect. We can say here slightly different. Instead of saying go back to projects, we can say go back to wherever you came from, and we can say with success and project, and then here give a space, project name, we can say the project has been successfully deleted, and that way we can get a notification. And that should be it. That should be able to set up for us. So let's go and have a look if it works. I want to hide this project swimming lesson. Well, let's just do this one. This one looks ugly. It's a bit of gibberish. So hide, and it hides it for me. Displays me notification has been successfully hidden, and it's no longer visible in our query. So if I add another method, another project, for example, I'm gonna say guitar lessons and A B C D E F G H blah blah blah, and date is 31st, and I add it, you'll notice that the project is added, and once we close the window it refreshes the page, which means it runs the database query, and you can see from the ID it's the number 3 project. The number 2 does not exist anymore, because if we go back to our database schema, we can have a look here. So swimming lessons, and with the ID of 1 and 3 have null, set to null, but this one has a current date timestamp, which means it's going to exclude this from the query, but it still exists in the database, which means it's soft deleted, which means we can make use of it. Now how do I bring it back? In the next video we'll create another method. We'll create another button here, so that will run a query for deleted at for the projects that have been deleted at. It will run a query for those projects, and once you click the button, it will create a view for you so you can see what projects have been deleted, and you can restore them each one, or you can delete them forever. So if you have any questions, if you run into any issues, just post some comments or send me a message, and I'll see how I can help you. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.